Okay, I know this film has been out for quite some time, and I didn't bother seeing it in theaters or online, but things have transpired that made me decide to put my 2 cents in. So yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon. It's your basic epic fantasy. A chosen one that sort of chooses herself, but there is a bit of nepotism at play. And she has to go on an epic quest to save the world with a magical best friend and a motley crew of crazy sidekicks. And if she doesn't, then the world will be plunged into darkness for 10,000 years. It's been done a million times. But, unlike other stories of this type, this version shows humanity as garbage, complete scum, but not beyond saving. Basically, it shows us at our worst, but leaves a tiny bit of room for redemption. Basically, it says, no matter what you've done, if you really try, you can be better. It's easy to be terrible, but the real challenge is being better than you think you are and getting out of your own way. And I find it ironic that that was the message of this film, because so many people are fighting about it, comparing it to this and that, and canceling certain YouTubers and saying, oh, you can't talk about this movie because you're not this ethnicity, and stuff like that. And everyone is just missing the point. This is a good movie. It is quick without being rushed or feeling rushed. The characters are likable, and while some of them are a bit of an acquired taste, none of them are annoying or tedious or unlikable in any way. And there isn't even a true villain. I don't want to spoil it. Well, spoil it. It's been out for quite a while. But basically, if there's a true villain, it is the negative aspects of the human heart made manifest in these petrification creatures that aren't really creatures so much as dark energy. And the only way to defeat them isn't with a stupid rock. It's with trust, hope, and a tiny bit of faith. And that's what the message of the movie is. It's easy to separate yourself into this group or that group and to make everyone else the others. But in reality, we all bleed red. So why aren't we working together? It's like you're drowning, and everyone around you is drowning, but instead of forming a human chain to pull everyone to safety, we're all trying to scramble around and over each other to get to dry land, and no one's getting anywhere. Basically, in this case, you can't see the forest for the trees. And it's unfortunate because the forest is beautiful. Especially in this movie, because the animation is the best I've seen ever. Better than Toy Story, what was it, 3 or 4? The most recent Toy Story. Better than than really anything. The water effects, it looked like real water. Some of the landscapes looked like photographers went out and filmed real things. The people, you could tell they were animated, but they felt real. They had weight. It almost looked better than motion capture. Maybe not Gollum level motion capture, but I felt like I was watching real people most of the time. The dragon looked like a real animal, but at the same time felt otherworldly. Like a mythical creature is supposed to. And it showed a supernatural ability to explain why dragons of this type could fly without wings. I'm not going to go into too much detail for spoiler's sake, but it's whimsical but believable. So yeah. Also, the fights and action sequences were stylized in a certain way, but they felt grounded in reality and were I keep using the word believable, but it did feel like when people fought or when there was an action sequence, it felt like real danger. And at the big payoff at the end, it had a sense of completeness. I know I'm kind of bouncing around topics, but the main thing I want to get across is everyone is so focused on what this movie compares to and how similar it is to every other story from a certain part of the world, that they neglected to realize that it's not simply a story from a certain part of the world. It's basically the original story. Lone hero gets a motley crew, a magical friend, has to save the world. It's basically the first epic story ever to exist, but adding in that one little kick in the pants that we all need to get out of our own way and pull our heads out of the sand and stop pulling against one another and pull together in the same direction, that magic can practically happen. That's the message of this movie. Stop being mistrustful. Have a little faith. Self-sacrifice isn't a bad thing, but sometimes what's more important is trust. And that's what's so sad about all the backlash from this film. Did you know it only made $30.3 million after it covered its budget? And the few people who saw it are fighting about it. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is, can you trust the people around you? are you willing to trust the people around you? Because, yeah, sometimes that trust is broken. But what's the alternative? Turning your heart to stone? That's worse. And it shows what happens when people turn their hearts to stone. So yeah, long story short, Raya and the Last Dragon was a movie that felt very familiar in very many respects, but its message was something that, sadly, we still need to hear again and again and again until we get it through our thick skulls. Trust. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you we need to stop debating and arguing over Disney movies and just enjoy Disney movies again. Now, what happened to the kids who sat down, popped in a VHS of an old Disney movie and just enjoyed it? I miss those days. Stay healthy, folks. Stay healthy. And trust.